Rap Circle is finally here. I know everybody been waiting for it, right?
It's so abrupt. I need to figure out how to fix that, don't I, guys? Well, welcome. I am Pops, and here we are. Thought I would throw together a live stream to discuss the amazing and yet crazy weekend that was headed down to Orlando for the Geeks and Gamer Nerdrotic Meetup. Hail to Zax and Brandon Looney Tunes fan in the chat. Thank you so much for jumping in here. It's great to chat with you guys. Thank you for joining me. So it was super cool. I have not done a meetup yet. This was my first time. As many of you know, I really had not done like the Pops YouTube and the networking, this kind of thing to build these types of friendships. Really didn't do any of this stuff since like March. So there's been stuff that's gone on, but it's my first one. What was really cool was Mrs. Pops came with me. Mrs. Pops, Magitech Mags, giving her the nickname, and she's all dressed up and gussied up, looking sharp, looking good, making Pops happy with a smile on my face, getting to take my lady down, going on it for the day. And we got up early, did our chores, and left the farm to head down. And I've said the story before. I was really, really wanting to go and meet Gary in particular because I remember, Gary and I are so much alike. Like, the comic book guys, dabbled, he did an actual store for like a decade, which is more than I did, obviously. I did a few years while I was in college and had the flea market booth and that kind of thing. But obviously I just read, tons of comics. So Gary had always been an inspiration for me, and asking him, remember sending him a super chat and asking like, I agree with you so much. I don't feel like I'm offering anything. And he was encouraging me to do a YouTube. He was encouraging me to make videos. Gary was not, thinking of me as competition or anything like that. Why should he anyway? But reality was he was just nothing but positive, encouraging then. And I wanted to meet him and share that. And he was so, I think, just kind of like on his heels, like hearing the story. Like I don't know. He didn't seem like he was faking it. He was just like, I can't believe that you would think that I inspired you, or, and I'm like, but you did. And you did for other people. And I told him about, Stone Loki. I says, you're helping people. Just stay the course, man. Stay the course. So, hey, Alf Jivas here again. Thank you, my friend. And anyway, so we drove down. We got in town a little bit early. We did no problem with traffic, and the weather was not too bad. We sat, and they had like a little line for people. So I didn't know what to expect. I knew they had done 2 sessions. I knew the sessions were full. I knew there'd be a lot of people. I knew there wouldn't be a lot of room. I know the biggest trick is to get to Gary and Jeremy. You would want to do it early. Try to get some of those I want to say big names, but the bigger YouTuber names, sort of like get a chance to actually talk to them. Do it pretty early. So that was kind of the plan, and we did just that. We went in, we were there. It was fun just standing there watching my wife people watch the nerds. She was really the only girl at that point, the only lady in that line right there. Like there were 20 people, 30 people maybe, and she's there were plenty of ladies there. I'm not trying to say that, but there at this point in the line there were not. She's like, I might be. She was texting my daughter, and she's like, I might be the only woman here. And I'm like, nah, there's plenty of people. And you would see the Geeks and Gamer staff, you would see different folks. And anyway, so it was fine. She felt very at home. I think she said that she was happy it was more like a social gathering of people just interacting and talking and getting to know one another and putting faces with names than like nerd talk. Now, I admit I had to sneak in a Gary nerd talk about Daredevil, which we had a quick moment. And she was giving me the looks like, you've talked too long, you got to go. And Gary's like, yeah, I'd rather talk comic books, but I have people. But no, it was super cool to meet him. So let me share the photos because there are photos. Most photos worked okay. There were a couple of photos because the lighting was a little strange towards the back of the room. There was like a bar towards the back of the room, so it was a little. Some of the lighting was a little rough, but it's just really special to get a chance to meet somebody who has inspired you and helped us and encouraged so many people. Hey, Matt, how you doing, my friend? Hope you're doing well. Thank you, my friend. People have messaged me since the weekend. Like, was there any talk? If you're going to do a stream, talk about is there anything that surprised you about them? Anything, whatever. And I could say this: Gary is been working out, looks pretty good, and his prescription in her glasses is way stronger than I even expected. Like like dude can't see. Like good on you, Gary. You burn out those retinas reading some comics over the years, my friend. My gosh, just he was just the man. He was just who he is. He was just the dude. He really was. He was super cool. So I chatted with him, and we really didn't. It was really cool. My wife was like helping me navigate through the crowd, and then I just basically ended up right where I wanted to be to see Jeremy. And for me with Jeremy, it was like I just wanted him to know that how much I admire and respect his desire to make a business. Like it's easy for us as YouTubers to to speak our voice, speak our mind, or whatever. And I think that's what needs to happen. We need more of that, not less. I'm going to sneeze. Hopefully that muted. I apologize if I didn't click it fast enough. But by making a business out of it with Geeks and Gamers and having so many people that work for him and work with him, Jeremy's made a footprint. Jeremy's made an impact. And I told my wife, I said, this is a guy that's been called is, obes, and phobes and, everything you can imagine for so long now. He's almost like it's a badge of honor. And his staff is very much like that. And they are like, they're different races, different ages, lesbian, it's this, it's that. It doesn't, it's gross that labels would be thrown around so haphazardly. And to see someone build a business and find success among that is very inspirational for me, right? As someone who has a business, has been doing something, and I come from a more political background. We didn't really talk about that kind of stuff, but it was cool to meet him. He's taller than I thought he would be. And he was super cool and down to earth, especially with my wife, who clearly was a fish out of water. She clearly, she definitely does not ooze nerd. He was super friendly and trying to, I want to say reach out to her, but just, being kind and engage. That's the word. That's the best word. Engage her in conversation as well, which I think is cool. Let me come back. Let me go over here. Let me go to Odin. So we moved along, and I don't really talk about Odin much because Odin is almost like too close to home. Like it's like as a person that tries to be honest about our faith, Odin really puts himself out there with it, though. He's always talking about his faith. It's like a large part of his conversations and his streams. I don't talk about it, but I do not shy away from any of it. And in my personal life, it's way more commonplace because people have known me, and they will find a way to talk to me about it. But in our streams, it doesn't come up much. But I really wanted to share that with him. I appreciate how much of his voice is in all of the circles, and that, I feel like we can be represented too. You know what I mean? The nerds don't have to be, crazy, cussing, whatever people all the time. People that don't behave that way can still be accepted and be a part of thing. And Odin is part of that. I feel like I've been welcomed into that group too. People have been very respectful for me. And let me say that too. Hey, Brandon, congratulations on that. If you're not subscribed, basically hit Brandon up if you can. And Abomination AJ, my brother, thank you so much for hanging out here. And they really are such great people, AJ, as you are, my friend. I can't wait to meet you, man. But I don't want to just meet you, man. We got to do dinner. We got the wives hanging out, talking animals. AJ and I, we got to connect for real. Something like Zach's. We got to break Zach's in over the border and spend time with you, man. And Matt, you're always welcome, man. I'll pick you up. You just stay on the farm. You just hang out for day or two, man. But when I met Odin, that was the biggest thing with Odin. He was just, he's just a real dude. You know what I mean? There's no fakeness or game with this nonsense, and I just want him to know that too. Like, as someone who shares a lot of those things, I felt, you don't want to say it this way, but the best way to say it is, you do represent me, and I appreciate that. I don't want to say that it's like, feel pressure that you represent me. More like, I just want you to know I can see myself as part of that kind of thing. Now, let me say here too, I don't have, I didn't even put it on my desk, on my laptop. It's on my phone. I didn't get hey, Princess Leia Rose. Hey there. week from Thursday, she'll be on with me. I did not share anything about quarterback Garrett, quarterback who we saw immediately, right at the same time we saw Gary. I don't have a photo. The photo didn't come out. I was trying to do a screenshot, but I didn't get the right one. Screenshot looks like I'm doing the talking or something. I didn't want that. But he did a video for me. My son went in the military, and I had to talk to quarterback, and quarterback's looking pretty good. And let me say this: quarterback had these really hot hats. These quarterback hats. They were pretty sharp. But he did a special video for me for my son who's in the Air Force, and because quarterback come from Crowder. He's always been kind of a connection point between me and my son, between the nerddom and the political side. And I appreciated that. Be able to talk to him about that and share that with him. So, one guy that I just really loved meeting, I don't know that we're really going to have a chance or how to connect more. These folks are busy, of course. You know what I mean? You wish there's a chance that you can connect more and get to know them more and spend time with them, whatever. But everybody's just swamped. I mean, we're already juggling schedules with us in our close circle, let alone bringing people like Epic Mite is so flipping cool. Obviously, he's rocking the X-Men shirt. He chimed in about my Star Wars shirt. And talk about just nerds cut from the same cloth. My wife was just, we were just kind of having we went into more like nerdy talk than maybe some of the others had time for. And we were just talking. We're talking about X-Men. We're talking about stuff. And my wife's just kind of like, okay, nerds, let's keep this moving. We got things to see. But I could see hanging out with Epic Mike regularly. Like we were just like, I don't know. I don't know if he feels the same way or not, but I did. He was just super cool. He was just super cool. Epic Mike's super awesome, man. And I didn't really get a chance to meet Mrs. Epic. I was a little frustrated by that. I didn't get to see the missus. I don't know where she was, bebopping around, probably working and doing stuff. And let me say, hail to 32 Flavors and Nick Weiser. I got to see Nick. Actually, it was great because Nick was just standing there, and I was like, got to do the Rocky Nick. And Nick is on fire. Like he is a party animal. This was his setting. He was, butterfly, just bouncing around, man, just seeing everybody. I didn't get a photo, and whatever photo I may have tried to get or we tried to get didn't come out. So I don't have a photo with Nick. Super cool, dude. Nick is exactly what you would expect Nick to be. He's got a drink in hand, partying. Good time, Nick. Yeah. Hey, Zombie. Hope you're doing well. Zombie, I've been trying to box up stuff from last week. I think it was last week. Whatever that stream was. To send you something. I have something for you, Ben. I have not mailed it yet. Still catching up on my mail. But no, everyone was super cool, super nice. It was very crowded, but it was also, as I understand, way more comfortable than some of the other meetups. And I will say this, getting to meet this man was super awesome. Like it was like, I saw him from across the room pretty early on in the process. I wasn't anywhere near him. And I'm like, I actually kind of got excited because he's been just such a big deal for us to do this. Like Culture would do shows on Fridays on that, the pre-flight. Obviously he does his daily 6 minutes, but the Fridays, I was very early in this process making videos, and I don't remember Culture ever being in my stream or ever being in a comment section like that. And he just out of the blue just started shouting out my channel, and I was getting subs. He's always answered me when I've messaged him. He came on my one of my celebration streams. He's always been just nothing but encouragement. And when we were chatting, and we got to meet the misses are talking to one another. They're talking to us about some of their plans. I mean, it was the best. And then I got one. I got my first one. I'm ready to figure out how to get my hands on more of them. I got my let's make it big so everybody can see here. Let's make it big. Here we go. I got my first chip. Can you see there? I got my first Culture Casino chip. There you go, man. That's a doll. There you go. I'm ready to go. Got my first one. So we had all sorts of things to talk about. That's probably one of my best interactions, was be able to talk with Culture, be able to get to know him and his wife and talk about things that are important to them and what they're working on, that kind of thing. Hey, Bifer. How you doing, my friend? And it was great because I saw him kind of across the room because you had these stairs that came down. They were both down. The lanes kind of went down both sides. Jeremy was on one side, Gary and Quarter on the other end. Jay was in one quarter. You have people across the front, whatever. And the Culture was kind of near the top of these stairs. And I saw him from afar. I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, I see him. And, of course, I'd seen Nick already. So get a chance to meet. And then, of course, Mrs. Culture was introducing me, which was really crazy. Like everybody's like, yeah, Pops. And I was like, next thing I know, not only is she pointing me out, but people are coming up to me. So I got to meet Sporking News. I had to see Scott. And I know they've been working together at the Content House, but Scott is exactly the same as Culture for me. They have been supporters. We've been emailing back and forth. He was shouting out my channel. I haven't been on his show. He hasn't been on mine. And yet we were like the best of friends. And the love in the room about that, being able to just hear that you support one another, it's really something. Byfer says they don't cover Indian movies. I understand, and I haven't covered Indian movies here recently, Byfer, so bear with me. I will get back on that. But again, like Byfer, like I've said before, they are 3 hours long. I have to watch them with subtitles. There are sometimes we have a hard time finding them with subtitles because, and I don't want to watch like the Hindi version if they're a Telugu film. I want to try to watch a Telugu film with English subtitles. So I'm trying to I want to say do it right, but I want to try to stay as true to the original intent as I can. And I haven't done a film since, oh man, it's been a minute. It's been a while, but I'm not, there's no aversion to wanting to, just got to do it. So yeah, I'll be working on that here soon, Byfer. So bear with me. Hopefully you won't kick me out of the club either, but and I don't know why they haven't watched any. There are some good ones. I will tell you, Paulie did review Sardar Udom today. And that premiered, and he went on, and we were interacting in the chat, and that is an A+ film, man. So, and Leia Rose, you're so, trust me, Culture is culture. He is a dude just trying to hammer out his thoughts, share it with people, meet people, support people. He and his wife are so grounded, and they're also like visionaries. Like they're very much into their partnership, and then like what can we do, and like the vision of them as a relationship and their marriage and their plans, and they share with us so much. They were so transparent with us, and it makes you closer. You feel like friendship at that point doesn't seem to be like just silly, superficial nerd stuff. It becomes like we're humans on the same type of journey with your road next to my road, and we're going along together. And even though we may not physically see each other very often, we can connect. And I hope we have that kind of relationship when we get to know each other even more on Thursday, man. So hopefully that'll be the case. I don't cover Indian films for any agenda. I actually enjoy them. So I'll be perfectly honest with people. I don't cover them to get views or anything like that. I do the content as I have scheduled, and I put it together as I want to. I saw RRR, which led me to his 2 previous films. People said, if you like those, you might like these. You might like this. This is the good one. And literally, I feel like I'm getting the list of the good ones. I'm not going to be naive, because I have tried to watch a couple of the ones that were not highly recommended, like the ones that were on Netflix, and they were the weakest of the group that I've seen at this point. So, okay, good. You saw that review of Sardar Udom. Yeah, hardcore film. So let me see, where am I at on my photos? We talked about culture. I don't think I can say anything else there. This is, let's see. Oh, okay. So, this is one of those guys that I got to be honest. I know we have, like, I've been in his chat, and I think he's been in one of mine. I don't really remember exactly. But Stephen Walton, man, he's an OG. He was doing the Phantom Menace thing. He was back, obviously the Last Jedi, stuff like that. And I was still doing politics. We had a great conversation about all of that coming together, right? The political side, so we call it the pop culture war, right? So we had a really great conversation. That's Bob in the middle. I'm like, yeah, let's get Bob in here for a photo. I'm glad the photo came out well. This is that area I was telling you about where some of the lighting's kind of a little weird. But Stephen was super cool. We were just hanging out. I know he was doing content house stuff with Scott and with culture and that kind of thing. So it is, again, like I said, you feel like you're connecting with people who are on the same kind of journey with you. You feel closer to them than you do with people that I see at work every day, because these are people that are facing similar struggles, similar problems, similar frustrations, similar goals, similar to your likes and dislikes and things like that. You feel like you're just so closely tied to people, and you're in a room full of dozens of them. There were so many people that I didn't know their names when I'm in the room. And then on Twitter, I'm like, oh, yeah, that's who that is. Oh, that's who that is. I kind of embarrassed myself at one point. So, oh, the late husband, Dan, and I were the same way. Yin and yang. Yeah. That's the way it should be. And I'm sorry that, you're solo now, but you were blessed to have the time that you were having. And I'm blessed to have my wife every day. And it is part of our life's journey. And we do that. So. Pops is huge. I don't know about that. Maybe in the waistline. But no, yeah, Nick Weiser is the one that's huge. But thank you, awesome one. I appreciate seeing you in here, my friend. So yeah, it was a really cool experience to be around that many people. And it was like, okay, so it was near the end. We were getting ready to wrap up. And this guy, he says, he was asking for a photo or take a picture or whatever. And he says, well, my name is Robert. And I kind of had a brain cramp. And I'm sorry, Robert, if you see this. There are too many Roberts, right? So I didn't know which Robert. I think he said, and Robert from the stream, which of course didn't help me because I know there's more than one. There's also Bob's. So it could have been Robert. I just had a photo with a Bob, so. And of course, when I'm on Twitter, I look, oh, that's Robert Frank. I got who this is. So it was a bit of it's almost like a move forward with this many people, this many things. Like, you'll see someone from Geeks and Gamers, but I don't really know certain people. Like, I'll know who some people are, right? All right, hold on one second. The dude in the middle was sitting on the floor on FNT. Who was he? Are you talking about a photo I shared, or are you talking about something that happened on the actual show? So, not sure what you mean. You have to help me out with what you meant, so. Yes, I understand. Yes, Lord, give us strength. We all go through different things, and God's got to be the one carrying some of the water, because some things we're not able to do on our own. So, last photo. Okay, hang on. Let's go back. That was with Steve and Walton. Bear with me as I try to pull that back up. Who got on the floor? Well, this is Bob in the center, Stephen Walton on the right. I don't see the three people behind. I can't make out who they are. Solus asked them, are you secretly in a photo and you don't want to tell us? Is that what you're trying to tell me? I think you're secretly in a photo, aren't you? It's okay. You can tell me. It's okay. Can always ask Squatch, my friend. Wish you were in Orlando. Hopefully. Listen, I can't wait to meet you, man. And I'm hooked on your content, man. Your Halloween stream made me laugh. It was awesome. Bob. Yes, that was Bob in the middle, which is a different person than the person that approached me later named Robert. So they're not the same. And I'm like, so the person, you know who you are, Robert. I did not mean to fumble, but I am easily confused and I am not always as sharp as I should be. But yeah, there was a lot of folks where I was like, when I got to Twitter, things can slow down at a pace where it's not like just people walking by, people introducing themselves to you or talking to you. And, I got to be honest, I was trying to spend most of my energy, at least have a pause in my approach of including my wife. Because at the time, in the past, I've done a terrible job at this. I've done a terrible job getting sucked into the moments. She feels like completely a fish out of water. It's not her scene, and I have not made her part of things. And I really want to try to make up to everyone. This is Mrs. Pops. This is include her. So there were times where people were talking, and I'm just like, my brain is not really as connected as maybe it should have been. But everyone was so cool and hang out with. And I think what you'll find is, and it's kind of like can really Sasquatch what we're saying too. It's like, we was just trying to enjoy each other's friendships and companies. It wasn't on the dump. It might have been. Yeah, because the dump had like that crazy table scenario. I mean, they were rocking and rolling. You had all sorts of stuff, right? Because you had Fear the Beard on there, obviously Scott and Walton, Culture, Nick. I mean, it was just crazy. That's those show that stream or whatever. Then they're rocking AC/DC. It wasn't AC/DC. No, it's Queen. It's Queen. They had rocking Queen. And they had a content house going. Man, they were rocking some sort of content house. That's freaking great. So. But it was really, really chill of how everyone interacted. Like I said, I think there's something to be said too, where you're meeting people, because whatever issues are, it's just nerds being nerds. This is really what it should all be about. It's about like just hanging out and getting to know each other, and it changes that dynamic of whatever tensions or hard feelings or threats of competition, whatever nonsense could get in the way. And for some of us like me, I'm so, look at this. I barely have hair on top. I don't have any patience and tolerance for most of that crap. So anyway, humble culture on the PC. Yeah, well, I am not going to say a word. I had a stream to celebrate and I barely could get anything to work for 30 minutes because it just buffered. It just never would work. I'm trying to do a contest and nothing ever works. So awesome one. I am not going to be the one to criticize, because I was kind of embarrassed with how that stream started and went. For the most part. So, all right. So let me get to another photo here. Let me see what I have left. I don't have too many left. I want to get. Oh, okay. Let me do these guys. My gosh, what incredible men! I'm so blessed that I've gotten to know people, and I will say I knew they were going to be there. This is one of those photos. It just did not come out well, did it? Look how pink we are. The lights were like super strong pinks and purples and all sorts, as close as you got to that bar. Anyway, Thomas Stenger on the left and Jinja Ninja James Harris on the right. These is the creators of the new comic book, Steam Junk Western, right? And Gary Clone. I'll tell you this. These guys were so cool. I got a copy of my book. I can't wait to read and review their book. I can tell you that these are guys trying to make their dream come true. When I interviewed them both, I can tell you I've connected to them both. They're just really genuine, and you can feel like Tom was talking about, 20 years. Like he's been doing this stuff. He's been writing this story and trying to piece this world together for years. And James is just so passionate about his journey of art and to be able to find a way to make a living. And now he can actually make a comic book. Like it's a feasible thing. This is crazy. And he's making a comic book with a dude that lives in America while he's in Japan. So they've come together at a meetup to be able to do this, and it's materialized. Their baby is for real now. I kind of joke with them both, like you've done it. You've made something. Who cares? I mean, I know you want to be a success, and I know you want it to go, but take a moment to at least say, "Wow, nice math shirt." Technically, it's a physics shirt. So I can tell you that even the nerds, there were probably 3 nerds or so who did not get my shirt. I had to explain my shirt, which kind of makes most nerds feel bad when you explain it to them, because they should know what it is, just based on the context of the font and the nature of it all. So, but yeah, it's one of my favorite shirts. Definitely one of my favorite shirts. I had a great shirt that was, I had an Inconceivable shirt from Princess Bride, but it got ruined, so I lost my Inconceivable shirt. So I don't like math. What's that? I mean, math, physics, right? So, but yeah, it's force. It's the formula for force, which is mass times acceleration. They broke out acceleration, so that is technically distance times velocity over distance times time, which is acceleration. So that's the formula for force. So it says, "May the force be with you." But I will tell you that if I wear this in general public, I'm always asked what my shirt means. And even the nerds, there was a couple people that did. So I was at the first because we're 2 hours away. We're 2 hours away. So it took 2 hours down, 2 hours back. And I'm sorry I missed you. And if I did meet you, I apologize for not making connections because it was overwhelming. Culture Casino, my friend. I'd love to have you come up in here too, bro. If you're able to, I'm going to chat with you, man. Thank you so much, Culture. I already I had your photo up, was talking about it. You've met the world. And I tell you what, we just had a great time hanging out with you with the missus. We wish we could have done lunch and been able to kind of like, dig our roots in a little bit longer. I think if we had pre-planned it or we knew what the structure was going to be, because this is my first meetup, so I didn't quite exactly know how, like once you had your meetup time, kind of what would happen for the rest of the day if you weren't in the next meetup. So we didn't know what to do to manage our time because we knew Megan Lee and we've been communicating with her, but she was going to eat with the Geeks and Gamers people. So we didn't quite know kind of what we could do. Anyway, we just spent time together. Yeah, it was wonderful. And by the way, we were there and the missus learned that Henry was back in Black Adam. So she said, well, let's go see Black Adam. So that worked out. I had an entire nerd day. But yeah, Culture, you were super cool to meet. And I'm trying to open my messages and not pretend like I am so that I could just drop you that link in case it does work out and you could hop in for a minute and say hi or whatever. That's fine too if everybody can see you. But no, it was great. It was great. The room is just, I know Culture has said this, like it's something you should always try to do if you can do it or organize meetups in your area, those kinds of things, because it, it changes. I'm gonna keep saying it the same way. Like when you are interested in this type of stuff, obviously first it's the nerddom and the fandom and the pop culture war. Maybe you're a YouTube creator. Maybe you just enjoy YouTube creators, or you enjoy the concept of this type of dialogue. No matter what form you like, your common interests you're in a room with people who have a lot more in common than you do even in everyday life. Even the nerds that know I have a YouTube channel, even some that have been on my streams or been in here, right? I have a close friend that I used to did some early videos with, right? We don't really see so greatly eye to eye, so to speak. We don't really it's just like, oh, you liked this show? I don't want to call him out, throw him under the bus, which ones he's liked or not liked. But I'm like, well, what about this? What about that? Like I immediately am in like YouTube mode, right? People in this room are more like-minded. They're like, hey, listen, So you really have that. It's like an unspoken camaraderie. Really? It's really kind of how it goes. So Zombie Box Review, thank you, man. And I look forward to being there, man. Ryan has been a part of me doing this on YouTube on this round. Because for some of you don't know, we will probably get into some of my journey to this point and all of that with Ryan. That starts tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And I know Zombie handles that. So and there's the man, the myth, the legend himself. There's Culture. How are you, my friend?
I literally just walked in the door and your stream was on. So I was like, oh,
well, this was really unplanned because I didn't want to just randomly throw on photos. I really want to try to, because especially with my first meetup, I thought it would be good to encourage people to experience and give my normie perspective on it, right? Because coming from a political background and a radio background, writing on websites, which is very much like solitude.
Yes,
we didn't have something like this, right? So there was no, in a radio gathering, was you're in a room full of a bunch of pretentious people who hate your guts because you're at a low, or you're at a political thing where people are insulted that you can ask whatever question you want because you don't have a boss. And you can always tell who works for somebody because they always will go, yeah, this is Pops from ABC, NBC, blah, 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 Tribune, blah, blah, whatever. And you're like, no, I'm just some dude who wants to ask a question. I could care less about my credentials. But Culture, my friend, you were so spot on because you told me, it says, you're just going to love it. It's going to be the best. You're not going to believe how much fun, and you're just going to have such a great experience of it. How many of these have you been to, and how was this one for you compared to some of the others?
I think this is number 5 for me, maybe 6. Yeah. It's either 5 or 6. I don't know. I've been to a few. I'm trying to count. There's some informal ones that happen along the way too. So where people are just happen to be in town and a group of people get together. And I look, even if it comes together like that, completely organic or impromptu, probably the better way to put it. I still encourage everybody to go because I think you were trying to be very descriptive in saying that it makes you feel amazing. It does. I mean, it does. Oh man, there's so I just got home. I describe it the same way almost every time. It refills your joy bucket.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's not just like, you know, the confirmation bias that naturally gives you a high, because you're going to get some of that anyway. And we actually do in this sphere, because we all pretty much complement each other. We don't always get along. We don't always agree, but for the most part, we complement each other. But when you go to one of these events and you were literally face to face with somebody, man, that exchange is just pure. I had more fun, and you would know this from radio. I had more fun when a room full of people with a bunch of microphones around where we're just talking.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That was an incredible stream for Scott, right?
Sure.
We set that up at the house, and that was after the meetup, and the meetup was pure joy. Or no, it was before the meetup, wasn't it? Yeah, it was before the meetup. And it was the meetup is pure joy. You were just saying it, and I'm going to keep saying it for as long as people will listen to it. If one of these happens to be near you, go. You know, and you get a chance to meet other creators. You get to exchange ideas, experiences. You learn from each other. I picked up tips while I was there. You know, a lot of people ask me a lot of questions. And I'm just gonna I'll give you information, whatever I know. You know, this is what I know. This is what works for me. You know,
sure.
I had people asking me about hair care, which was fun. So,
well, that's always fun. Well, Paul Bissell saying, he met you in Dallas and got a red chip.
That's right. Yeah.
I got the blue one.
Yeah. The red chip was the year one pass around, and year 2 pass around's the blue one, and year 3 pass around will be a green one. And then,
Well, Paul, I can tell you this. I don't know that I'm a great guy, but I can tell you what, I'm just who I am. And I can tell you, I can vouch for culture. We're just regular dudes who like talking about this stuff and culture. I said it this way. I don't know if you heard this part or not. I said, you're in a room full of people that share your interests and your struggles. And whether you're just a listener or a commenter or a moderator, you have more in common with each other in that room than we do like the people that I have to go to a day job with. I was trying to articulate, I love those people too. I try to interact with them, but those people aren't watching my show. They barely, half of them probably don't even know that this would even exist. They're shocked when they find out about it, let alone, be able to talk, why I would like or dislike She-Hulk or Andor or whatever. They're always put off by different things. Whereas in a room like that, you're like, yeah, man. And in this episode and that you're just in a complete different zone, and it's the best.
But did you get a picture with Vic Mignogna?
I didn't get a chance. Well, not all of my pictures came out great because obviously you have purple and pink, and you have lots of crazy lighting in that room and whatever.
Yeah, right. It was like constantly changing. It was goofy.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, good time.
But Vic was there. That was super cool. I was getting ready to say I didn't have a picture with that. But yeah, it was super cool having him there. I was telling there's so many people that I was going on Twitter. My wife drove from like one point to another point just so I could be on Twitter. I was trying to figure out certain names with faces because one guy came up to me and says, "Yeah, I'm Robert, whatever." Well, I have a lot of Roberts and Bobs and whatever. I don't know which one he was until later. I'm on Twitter. I'm like, oh,
that's Robert.
I got it. Yeah, you're that. Okay. So there was still a lot of that too because it was my first one, so I'm still doing a lot of that. So, yeah.
Well, and you have, and it was cool. I got to meet 3 or 4 of the Legion of Memers guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was so good. I was watching the crowd. Like, because
you were up higher where you were doing a lot of nerd watching.
Yeah. I love doing that because I'm like, this is again, the energy in the room. You've just described it perfectly. You're very eloquent that way. But it is that energy, the conversations are so pure. You start to talk about the nerdy stuff that you would normally sit around a table and talk with your friends about. And it's natural, and immediately everybody in that room, you just said, you have something in common with it. It's amazing. And it's not just obviously, Geeks and Gamers or Nerdrotic or whoever your favorite creator is. You have a lot in common with the people that are there. Everybody has their struggles. Everybody has their successes, and it's just fun.
Awesome one says he's looking for some of your shampoo. So hair care, they may be hitting you up, man.
Hey, it's coming. The hair and body products are coming. It's going to be all organic, the whole 9 yards. Yeah, very, very cool stuff. Yeah, I was definitely grandpa. I was definitely grandpa culture. Awesome one indeed. I love to watch people. It's true.
Yeah. So my wife was too, and I'll say this too. This is also for any of you that want to bring a spouse, or maybe
Dude.
you're not as nerdy as like culture and I would be.
Yeah.
It was a more of a social gathering than a nerd out fest. So
True.
she was able to still be very comfortable.
Oh.
And there were a couple of times, I know Scott had done it. I think
Yeah.
your wife did it as well. They turned on the, like, what is her nerd button, right? Well, because she's into animals.
Right.
So we have this farm, and she doesn't really farm with food and crops.
Right.
She's with animals, and she's like an animal whisperer.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, she's on the phone showing pictures of her babies.
Yeah.
And it was just that kind of comfortable environment for everyone. And it was really, time just went by too fast. It was just really hard.
It was, and that's the thing. I mean, if there were anything I would change, right? If I were in charge of it, I would have extended the hours, or I would have gotten a big, I would have gotten maybe a slightly bigger room and not divided into two different sessions. I would have made one bigger session, because I think the energy in that room was just, it was palpable, and you're not wrong. I mean, the boss usually travels with me to these, and she loves it. I mean, she's been to 4 of them now. So, and she's loved them all, every time. They've been incredible. And it's a social thing. It's not just for nerds. You're right. Cause I know your boss and my boss were talking about, food and animals and stuff
that's what they were chatting it up about.
Yeah.
So,
and I was
it was funny you say that, awesome one, because that's kind of what she thought when we were driving there. Because I said, well, let me give you a little heads up on a few people that we're going to meet, and I'll try to prompt you, because I said, you're not going, because she's not going to know who Gary is. She's not going to know. And she's definitely going to get them mixed up.
Sure.
So she thought of it more like a con. So she started making associations in her head, like, okay, this is this person, this is that person. So it was very easy for her. And let me share a picture, because I hadn't covered this one yet. This was probably one of the coolest moments for us. And that was, we got to meet Jay. So obviously Drunk 3PO is sort of like one of those, iconic type characters that if you have much interaction with him or what he's done or whatever, he's sort of like not forgettable. Like Jay is not forgettable.
No.
The thing that struck my wife the most, and this is where, culture's going to know, he's talking to my wife about his missions to Mexico and stuff like that. He is so transparent with his life and being real and being passionate about all these things. And we were overhearing him talk about how hot he is in his ridiculous pajama outfit, because they were rolling out the plushie and all that. But he's like, this picture comes, we were talking for at least 10 minutes with him and the missus about his teaching in Mexico, all this stuff. And this is not the nerd part. It was also talking about the nerd part. It's like, he's like, oh yeah, let me come on one of your streams. Just hit me up and let me know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, dude, you're way above my batting. You're about at a higher level than me. I would never even have thought of trying to chase people down, so to speak. But it was so cool. It really was.
He is in person. He is who you would think he would be. And I mean, I've been fortunate enough to hang out with Jay more than a few times, and I consider him a very close friend. I can call him on the phone and talk to him and stuff like that. And while most people won't have that kind of access, when you go to the con, like you're talking about, Pops, when you go to the con, you can understand why. He's not just personable; he's transparent. You don't get a lot of people like that. I mean, and what's weird is if you look around, you're in a room full of people that are that transparent. They are the people that you see on screen for the most part. Some of them are a little bit more of a caricature of themselves on screen, because they're trying to make a mark for themselves. But at the same time, I mean, your engagement with them is real, and the thing that it's so easy to support Jay. I mean, let's just be honest. It is so easy to support him and send him super chats and support his charities and everything. It's so easy to do, because he puts in the work. He puts his faith to work. I don't even know how to describe it, but I mean, genuine is
genuine is an understatement. And because I told my wife, I told the first lady, we're talking about it, and that's one of her big things. So she's so anti-celebrity, and she's been anti-celebrity long before this stuff got as bad as it is. You know, I said, well, Gary has literally in his bio on Twitter about being a felon. You know what I mean? Like, this is not like people that are real presumptuous. You know, they have stuff going on and they have some barriers up, maybe for some different issues and for some different reasons, because the world's just crazy. I said, but when you're in this room, they know they're amongst their people, and you can just, you know, next thing you know, she's looking at me like, are you and Gary going to stop talking about a Daredevil comic book anytime soon? Because I really want to meet. I'm like, well, not if we had our choice. Because if we had our druthers, we would probably do this for about an hour. Because we're like, this is literally like, you know, we're like cut from the exact same cloth.
Abomination. Yeah, Abomination AJ and I met up in Dallas. That was amazing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
AJ.
So, dude, he is cool and just a talented artist. And I keep telling him I got to hire him to do some art. So
Me too.
I do.
I can't afford him probably. I can't afford. I'd love to get a caricature for my Talk Hard team. I got to figure something out, AJ. You got to figure out. Give me a monthly payment plan or something. I'll figure it out.
He's incredibly talented. And when you get to see it firsthand, you're like, good gravy. That's amazing. Right.
Yeah. Greedo and Speedo's here. Talk about someone that I need to have on. He's just a crazy person. I just love it, man. I love what you do, bro. Just love it. Just bring it. And the room was just, it was one of these things where it's hard to explain because it's almost like high energy, but also super casual.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The only way I could kind of explain it to somebody at work who asked about it. And I said, well, imagine like when you've gone like home for like, you know, the Christmas holiday or a Thanksgiving, and it's been like the best visit ever. It's that feel like you're amongst family, but it's super high energy and excitement too. And that's kind of what it was like. So let's see. I didn't even mention Ryan. So thank you for bringing up Austin One. Ryan was like the hype man, and he is just built for this. Like talk about needing a spokesperson. He is built for like the in person. Get a room going. Yeah. And I'm not trying to take anything away from anyone else, but he was just on. We met him in line, so there really wasn't a great way to take a photo. We met him in line, and then after that, of course, he was swamped and running around trying to run their raffles and stuff like that. And again, exactly what I told my told the missus that he would be like, because I love the less crazy Ryan when he's showcasing like how smart and knowledgeable he is, where he's not doing his own like standalone video. He's literally just sharing knowledge with you. That version of Ryan is so underrated. And that's what I got to see a little bit firsthand when I was interacting with him, was like that dude. I got to say thanks and stuff for that. So yeah.
He's funny because, you know, Ryan is like the perfect MC. You just said it, right? Because he's got the energy, he's got the voice, there's presence there, you know, and he gets your attention, right? He commands that, which makes sense. He was in the military for a little bit there, but you know, he's great at it. And then he has his own hype man, in which his hype man stayed with me in my content house for a few days, Biggles Mets, and that guy is the biggest fan for Ryan you've ever seen. Yeah. And there's a reason for it. He inspires that kind of
well, it sounds like you have another customer. We got to figure out how to get your hair products to Japan and hook them up. So yeah, Gray, it's coming. We're gonna get you hooked up, man. We'll get you some hair products in the mail.
I will. I've got, like I said, it's the thing that I desperately need to talk to Abomination AJ about, because I think he's going to do my bottles and stuff. So I got to talk to him. But awesome. No, we've got this community's deep. We have a deep bench. I think that was a conversation that Gary and I had this time around, right? You know, I got a chance to talk to him for a couple minutes. I am one of those guys. So, because again, I've been to a few of these and I've met these guys a few times, and you know, when you get to have some regular engagement, I did not want to take anybody else's time. So you know what I didn't do? I didn't stand in any of the lines. I didn't get in anybody's way, because that's not what I was there for. I was there for the experience of meeting everybody else. So, and but Gary, the time I got to talk to him about it was like, look, I mean, we have a deep bench. And we're trying to make it deeper all the time. And Pops, did you talk to people about starting channels? I'm sure you did.
Of course. Everybody wants to know because it's all leaked out, right? Because thanks to Ryan Roger Athlete, which I'll be on his show officially tomorrow night, but it's leaked out about he's been doing this for like freaking 20 years. It's just not been here.
Yeah.
Next thing I know, people are like, what was that you on that one stream you said this? I said, all right, I'll message you. When you said this, I'm like, I'll message you. So I because my wife's looking at me like, what are they talking about? I'm like, you don't worry about it. And then there was a time where I used one of the examples. So, you remember when this happened like 10 years ago? She was like, oh my gosh, they're still. I said, oh, it's so much worse now. So I will say this, because almost like you mentioned, like the deep bench, it's almost like generations are going through, like Gary and the groups, like Generation 1.
Yeah.
And you guys were a little ahead of me, right? The whole Midnight Edge and whatever, things like that. Because what you experienced at that table in the content house was what I didn't want to get rid of. Because that's the part. So when I did the news, it was literally called News Talk. So it's very similar to your more like a newsy political type stuff. It was just me and the dude hanging out. Even during the pandemic, we were trying to keep it going. We were filming in my mother-in-law's living room because that was a big enough space.
Right.
And it was like the idea of doing this alone like this was hard. Like, oh my gosh, I'll be completely alone. Then I realized with the way streams and stuff work, it's just not like that. But in that room, you felt like the only issue is you just didn't have more time. The only issue was that you couldn't have like breakout sessions in like a cafeteria, and you couldn't have like, you wanted more. And it was great. It was absolutely great. It exceeded all my expectations. Let me ask you about this content house. How did you put all this together? How did this all come about? And what were your thoughts on doing that again?
I'm doing it again. But you're gonna have to get it at least as big a place because you need a lot of space. There were it was 4 bedrooms, 5 baths. It was a decent sized place. It wasn't very expensive. It's an Airbnb rental, and it came together kind of again organically. Originally, it was going to be me and Ords that were going to host everybody there with our our better halves. Let's just be honest. Amber is his better half, and the boss is my better half. So, but and then we were just going to have people, and then there was just a place for everybody to just hang out. What's up, Steven Ransom? Anyway, but that was the plan, and then Ords had to drop out, so I replaced Ords with another piece of the pie, and the house could sleep 6, 7, 8 people, so we ended up with a pretty decent crew. Scott Sporkin News podcast, despite having a hotel, just crashed there one night because it was easier, and we had a really solid crew at that table. My intention, I brought half of the portable studio that I put together, courtesy of my channel, thanks to all of you folks, that basically allowed me to bring along several mics and several webcams and my portable studio board, which is an 8 spot, so it can take 8 mics and all that, and just ran everything through OBS, and it came together beautifully. I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better companions than Shagsworth, right? Shagsworth is a brilliant mind. If you can ever get him on, Pops, he's amazing, and he's easy on the eyes for the ladies. So
ladies, all right.
Yeah, but we had a lot of fun there. So you had Shags, you had Jacob Smith from Society Reviews, who's also with Bounding into Comics. That was incredible. Of course, 32 flavors of Nick Weiser, or 32 flavors of Drunk Weiser. Holy cow, that guy drinks.
He's an animal, man. It never stopped. He never stopped. I mean, I didn't have a photo of Nick because I don't think he ever stopped long enough. They would just slow down for me to pose. Like he just was just going.
Yeah. He is high energy, dude. I love him to pieces. And when he crashes, he crashes. I mean, it's like go.
If there's a fire, someone has to be responsible for getting him out of the house,
picking him up because he's not getting.
Yeah, we had a daughter that was like that. She would never stop talking and moving, whatever. And there was always like a joke, like if anything happens, I'm responsible for going again. It's like it was a joke. So yeah,
that isn't a joke with that dude. But anyway, it was just great. And then of course, Sporkin and we had author Stephen Walton on. It's been a long time since I've been able to hang out with him in any meaningful way. And we filled up that table, right, with people, and we had an audience. Like there was an audience in the house watching us do the show. There's nothing like that kind of energy, nothing. And I would do it again in a million years. I'd have you over, Pops. I think you'd have a good time. And
awesome one. What happens in the content house stays in the content house.
Unless you're like Chrissy, broadcasting it for 48 hours. That was bonkers. Of course, it didn't hurt that she had some interesting people in the content house.
Yes. Yes.
I
No, Mads wasn't there this time.
No.
That'll
Gosh,
be,
if he was, we would have broke the internet.
it
Mads
would have
live
been
has been
insane.
ridiculous. Yeah.
And with Nick and Mads and all. Oh my
Oh, yeah.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Good time. Good time.
Yeah, I don't know. I love the content house concept. You and I talked about, just this concept of being able to have people in the same room, be able to come together, share a studio, whatever it takes to do stuff like this. That takes me back because it was like, when you go to the radio station, there were like empty rooms all the time. You could go in and, as long as they didn't care, it wasn't, going to be reserved out for somebody. You could go in there, knock something out. You could record something for 20, 30 minutes. You could do. So I'm just used to that kind of stuff. And with this, it's been more like a lot of learning curves and things like that. And to watch something like that come together, it was just magic. And like you said, you guys sharing microphones, passing it around, and just become like chemistry because it just does exactly how it works, like conversation. All you got to do is make sure people at home can hear you. And it's fantastic because then you're just nerding out, man. You could just go for hours. It's insane.
We had that 3 minutes at the beginning of the stream where Nick's mic was the problem. It was both a microphone and a speaker, so we just had terrible sound. Once we removed that from the equation, everything was golden. Yeah, and but you're right. That chemistry in the moment, passing it back and forth. The 3 mics that were working or whatever. It was amazing. I cannot say enough good things about that. And I think everybody that has a channel should do that. And I think that everybody that doesn't have a channel that has an inclination should make a channel. You probably know this. Everybody will walk up to you. Well, the people who are interested will walk up to you. They'll ask you a question about, I'm thinking about starting a channel. And then you say, well, don't think about it. Just do it. Do it right now. Well, what are you waiting for? I need a computer. No, you don't. You got a phone. You got the whole studio in your hand. Well, yeah, but I need a good camera. I need a good mic. No, you don't. It's better with that. But no, just start now. What's your excuse? You see, that's the problem is there's always a barrier for everybody. And
I wish someone had said that I could have gotten by with something cheaper. Like for me, it was like too much. Like I bought some $1,000 camera and all this mics and setups and lights. And that's what we did. We're doing all this editing or whatever. And now I'm so much happier with it's Midland. I didn't spend a ton of money on these microphones or the little camera. And I tell my wife we're in Ollie's and places like that all the time. And I'm always looking at the webcams. Is it 1080p? As long as it's a 1080p webcam, I really don't even care which kind it is. As long as it's 10, just buy a spare or whatever. Here's the thing. What do you want to do? Mm-hmm. And don't have high expectations. Just manage your expectations. Mm-hmm. And don't be afraid to ask people for advice and help.
Yeah.
Do not be afraid. Just ask, because they're either going to not answer you or say, I can't help you. Or that's the absolute worst thing that can happen. You have a worse experience going to McDonald's than you will probably have dealing with most of us. Just be perfectly honest with you. Because we want you to do well. We want you to do things. We don't want, this is not like an exclusive club. No. I could care less how many people there are. So,
yeah,
I
was waving. I don't, I like you said, it's always like you have no excuse. I'm the tough love parent, right? So I'm going to be like, why are you making excuses? Just do it. Well, I need a better camera. No, you don't. Just give a camera in your hand. Your phone has a better camera in it than most of the sensors you're going to buy. Even at the high end stuff. Heck, go buy the 1440p $30 Walmart cam. That will rock the box. You don't need it. You don't need anything better than that. Yeti Blue out the box if you want to have a halfway decent microphone experience. But for the most part, you don't even need that. You just need something that makes it so that you don't sound like Darth Vader, and you'll be good to go. Although some people are looking for that kind of thing.
and to be honest, I don't know what I'm doing. There are some videos when I'll go to maybe do an edit or something like that. I went through I think it was like a whole week of videos where somebody didn't realize that the settings flipped on me, and it was picking up the webcam mic, and I sounded like I was way back here, and nobody bothered to say anything. But okay, so let's move on. Okay, it's fine.
We all make mistakes, right? I for 2 weeks consecutively, I recorded videos, like one video like each week, that had no sound. And Grant at like 3 a.m. would send me because he's in Australia and he does my editing, and he would send me a message on Twitter, which I wouldn't see until 5 or 6 a.m, and he would be like, "There's no audio on your video." I'm like, I recorded a 20-minute video with no audio, but it happens.
It does happen. It does. We've all done crazy things. Like I can't tell you, there was one time I did it and sometimes, and it's not this setup, but it was a setup I had before. I hit record twice, so it didn't record. I turned it on and turned it off literally with like 1 second in between and just sat there talking for like 20 minutes before I realized, oh, wait, that red light is not on.
Not on. Yeah, we do that all the time. But again, I mean, I did a live stream one time with no audience because it was private. Because it was private.
Well, I did 2 streams after getting monetized, and I didn't turn on monetization. That was great. Like right away. Like, oh, wait a minute. If I set these up, I have to go in. I wanted to share the picture with Megan because Megan is, I was lucky to find noob reviews very early on in the game, and now we're doing a partner thing. I'll be on her channel on Thursday. And we'll be talking comics and probably be talking about the meetup. And meeting Megan was so cool because everyone else got to meet Megan. And my the missus says, and we told her that she reminds us of our middle daughter. Like, it was eerie. Like the mannerisms, the enthusiasm, and the energy. She just happens to be into comic books, and our other daughter's into other stuff. But she's so sweet. Her reviews, I send her comic books. I'm trying to figure out how to get permission to send her more because it's like I'm reliving the first time experiencing it through her eyes by watching her videos. It is the best experience ever. So
her videos are fun. And when she came back from the con with a bunch of new comic books, that was one of my favorite streams to watch, right? Because she's very enthusiastic. I found her when she was a tiny little channel, right? And so I had her come on my Sunday show. And that that was amazing. I'm like, just be yourself. These people are just like you. It's going to be a good time. She's nervous, but it was fun. She's such a good kid. She really is. I like her a lot.
Someone says, one of my favorite game streamers played an event that had about 2 hours and forgot to hit the record button. Man, that's rough. That was rough. Culture's first mistake was Mad, and his second mistake was, and then they're like, "Oh, poor Mad." So you get all sorts.
Oh no, Mad's an amazing guy. Yes, I was so bummed out, And here's the thing. So here we are at the content house, and the guy that's actually helped managing the stream in the background with me, because I was running the cameras and the board and everything. So I was mostly, just letting Scott do his thing and Shags and everybody, kind of just being the hall monitor of that, but. Grant is in Australia, and he's the guy managing the chat and the super chats and all that stuff in the background, all the way from Australia, participating in the stream. And it was amazing. I mean, it really was the right way to go about doing it, And I think that was fun. And it was the day after FNT, the day before the meetup. So it was Saturday that we did that. It was great. The Sporkin News podcast was the Saturday dump. It was a good time.
Yeah, and I tell you, it's funny you say that too, because you have Grant doing this around the world and whatever. And I recently had another stream, because this happened a couple of times now, where I can just put a call out there and people will come on and just hang out. And it's like, I'm talking comic books with someone that's in like Illinois and Japan, and you're just like, wow, this is a whole new world.
You showed a picture. You showed a picture of one of my buds, right? Ginger Ninja, right?
Yeah.
And it was amazing. So I kind of splurged when he released his anti-steampunk.
Oh yeah. He gave me mine too, and I'm gonna do an unboxing and stuff too. So you got an actual copy. Okay, perfect. Here's a page.
Yeah, this is the original artwork from the book. There's 2 of these. Yeah, that's awesome. I splurged hard. But it's totally worth it, because that art is just unique.
Yeah, I likened it to the old school like 80s Ronin and westerns, and just such an incredible feel. And when I did the interview with Tom, and he talked about how he imagine like 20 volumes, like the universe for him was so big it'd be like 20. I'm like, I am in. Like, how do I figure out how to help you guys to promote you more or whatever? And that's what was really cool there, is you really felt like, and I guess I'd be honest too, I also ended up down the rabbit's hole where, because there's just there's more content generated than any one person could even consume in that room, right? There were so many elements of Geeks and Gamers that I wasn't even familiar with. They're like, oh yeah, this one hosts this and that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And I realized, oh wait a minute, that's just, so they had new shows and new things, and so and so's doing 2 more of this and 2 more of that, and I'm like, holy cow, this is amazing.
And Jeremy's like trying to ride herd over a lot of that stuff. So you got like the tabletop channel, you got Sports Wars, you got, what the girls do over on with Tugs and X-Ray Girl with Poor Choices, and you got Beardo, contributing to some other stuff. You've got the Epic Verse with Epic Mike and Josiah. Josiah was there doing his.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even get to Josiah yet because I walked right past Josiah probably 3 or 4 times, and just there were probably either too many people around him or I didn't, and then someone's like, I was trying to get back to say goodbye to somebody, and Josiah's right here, and I turned around, I'm like, oh my gosh, and then basically we had a great conversation about I came from the world that you're now doing on purpose, so if you need someone to talk to, been there. So and that's when my and the missus was like, holy cow. And that's when I think some of the politics, pop culture stuff really started to click too at the meetup, because once we left, it was quite a conversation about some of that kind of stuff. And listen, man, maybe set something up, reach out to some of the folks that are close by. I'm sure there'll be something.
I actually I was just actually typing in the chat, which I just sent, which you'll see in a second. Okay. But there is a local meetup in the Phoenix area because they were talking about it at this one. That's the other thing. When you go to one of these, you're going to start finding that these little groups will start to meet up. So Biggles Mets is in Arizona. Jed from Pop Culture Archivist is in Arizona. The Hollywood Scholar is in Arizona. There's a lot of folks. And Hollywood Scholar is part of G&G. But you got a lot of folks in Arizona, believe it or not. You can probably get Jolly from Snowdub Entertainment to go to that. There's a lot of people. And again, I mean, all these markets, like if you're in Vegas, the Salty Nerd podcast, they're based out of Vegas. They do some meetup events there locally with the people that are in the Nevada. There's a lot of SoCal stuff that happens with Paulie and Chris Gore and stuff like that. So we're, like I said, you have opportunities to do some of these local exchanges as well. So, but yeah, touch base with Biggles, Mets, or Jed, or even me, because I plan to go to that one too. So
that's awesome. Yeah, no, I think this is this thing that's going to be rolling right along. And I think, I know Ryan talks a lot about this as he's rolling out Rising Stars and trying to encourage people for, the fact that this Indian market's hardly been tapped, and who knows what other Asian markets will come online. You're talking about millions of new viewers, and we have sort of like this infrastructure of support for one another to keep generating content, to have a way to kind of push back against some of the machinery. And as I've told people, I said, I'm motivated because I always think about some kid that was like me when I was in college going, I was told this was good, or I was like, this is really good. What else did they do? And I couldn't find things and whatever. Now, because of the internet, it's almost like too much information, and we can be a compass to direct people.
You were actually saying that. You were right. There's more to consume than you could possibly consume just in our sphere. Sure. I told you there are times I'll be watching 2 or 3 things simultaneously.
Yeah, you're the boss was telling me Culture has usually like 4 things. He's listening to things. He's moderating. He's like, I have a lot of that, but usually like one person can be on mute while I'm listening to something else. Maybe because I'm trying to, especially if you got somebody who knows new, you're throwing some watch hours their way by just letting that baby run. You enjoy interacting with their chat or something like that. But no. Culture has the volume up. He's actually like,
it drives her crazy.
I bet my wife would be out of her mind.
I could never hear her. Yeah, I could never hear her because it's like, because I've got that going on. Like I was actually on. Don't tell Andre, he'll get mad at me. But I was actually on Midnight's Edge in the morning stream while I was editing a video and moderating another channel.
That's freaking great. Listen, awesome one. I totally understand. As someone who was a critic and would go to these circles, I wish I could have the missus on. She's just not interested in doing this side of the mic. Yeah. The sort of like odd subculture of critics where you go in a screener and you can like I know it's narcissistic to say it this way. I feel like I'm the only normal person in the room sometimes. I'm in a room full of just people that smell their own farts right out of the South Park cliche.
Yes.
That the newspaper guy used to, when his wife would come, they would bring books. They wouldn't even interact with each other. Like it was date night for us, and we're watching them read a books. And we talked about this back and forth to Orlando, because I said, yeah, remember like the third time it kept happening, we realized they just don't want to interact with each other. Because once could be, oh, it's a project or something they're doing. When you get to like the third time, they just don't want to interact with each other. Yeah. You know, it's like just these crazy situations. So it's never surprised me, the disdain for critics. And now it's complete sellout. So it really is. And I mean, I actually looked at, I don't know if you ever looked at it, like what it would take to be on Rotten Tomatoes. Like if I had 100,000 people or whatever the ridiculous subscriber counts are, I was like, I don't need you people. No. I'm not going to waste my time trying to upload it to you. I'll be doing my own darn thing. I don't need you people.
Why am I going to write a review on your platform when I can monetize it on my own? I mean, what?
Absolutely insane.
You know, and that's becoming the norm. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like, look, I mean, I'm hopefully I'm going to hit 5K here. I'd like to hit it before the end of the year, but it'll come eventually. I have been deboosted by.
It is a crazy push pull.
Yeah, but it's okay. I just keep grinding. No complaints. But the unique thing I think is that, you know, as your platform grows, then it starts to grow faster. And I'm sure you understand this because you had accelerated growth, by the way. It was well done. But you can spend a whole year. You can spend a whole 2 years before you get that first 1,000 for some people. And it's just, it's weird. And then and
there's no way to know. You just don't, and this is the thing, because I know Ryan's going to bring it up tomorrow, but, you know, there's a place for all three categories. There's a place for a live stream and long form conversations. There's a place for shorts. There's a place for produced content. There's a place for comedy, even if they were all talking about She-Hulk.
Yeah.
Because you got all sorts of people in the world. And I just kind of got lucky in that the community accepted me very rapidly.
Yeah.
And picked up on the fact that I wasn't treated like, I don't know, like a brand new green person who's never been there, done that. That was kind of like one of the things I expected. It was like, yeah. You say you've, so, and then just got lucky. I mean, literally, you know, a few Indian reviews, you know, a couple Star Wars, you don't know. I don't know. I couldn't replicate it if I tried, and I don't care. I'm having a great time talking about what I want to talk about.
And that's the other thing. And I think it's just the other thing I tell everybody: treat this as a hobby. This should be fun. The minute it's not fun, don't do it anymore.
It'll kill you. It'll start to eat you. It'll be worse than going to your grindy day job, because it's something that you liked and then it starts grinding on you. Trust me, as somebody I know. Trust me, it was rough. Old Gamer Cutlass, one of my members, is here. Thank you, my brother. I just wanted to say hey to you. You probably popped in earlier. I just didn't catch it, but I'm so happy. Thank you for supporting the channel and helping us out. For Zach is still rolling her out. He's talking about this meetup in
Manitoba.
Met Rambling Canuck and Mary. Awesome.
They're great.
Great people. Great Canadian meetup. Awesome. Oh man, share some photos sometimes, Zach.
Nice. Like if only we played
hockey. Right. Get some hockey, playing some hockey.
Do you realize I had 3 separate conversations about Slapshot while I was at the meetups?
Did you really? That's so great. That's awesome.
I'm like, I love that movie. The boss loves that movie. We watch that movie when we can. You know, it's bananas. So, it was so funny though, because someone says like, "Oh yeah, Slapshot." I'm like, how does this movie keep coming up today? That's weird. But
I agree with Paulie too. Like it is. There are just literally, but I've been in the room with actors too. Like there are literally, I remember meeting some of the TNGs, and I've told this story before, where it's like certain ones were like, no. So it was, it's just how it is. So yeah, I know. Congratulations to Grant Gregory hitting 56K. Listen, if he enjoys doing it, let's rock and roll, baby. Let's crank out some shorts. I like doing shorts as like an ad. For me, they're like an ad.
That's actually what they are. I mean, if more creators treated them as like a 30-second ad, I think they'd be happier with it. Honestly.
Yeah, so, and it's just time for me, because I have to. Because I'm usually showcasing a comic book or a card or something that I'm into, so I got to get them out, make sure the camera on the phone's fine, get the lighting right. And Florida we have crazy sun here, so I'm trying to do it in my car sometimes. That sometimes works, and now it doesn't. But it is what it is. So look at Old Gamer thanking me. Listen, bro, you want them? He got some cool comics to enjoy. That's what I do, man. Try to have some fun, give some stuff away. The boss was very. I mean, the first lady. I call my wife the boss too sometimes.
No, that's fine. That didn't bother me. There's plenty of bosses in our community. Believe me.
Yeah, they were. They were talking about comic books, and she was like, "What do you need? So you want some?" And she was like, "I'll send them to you." She was trying to give some away. So yeah, there are that many. I have like a lot of stuff to keep going through. So yeah, but yeah, I am very happy about the handles. I am very happy. I am literally at Pops. I cannot believe that actually worked out. So yeah, YouTube at Pops. So feel free to find me that way. Be easy for you to remember. You won't have to worry about URLs or bookmarks. Just it's at Pops. At Pops. Have you heard this guy? That Pops. So you can highlight a stream. I'm having a hard time adapting that, Zombie. I got to figure that piece out to make it not look ridiculous. I did one. It didn't look great. I've got another one I edited of AJ being AJ. But until I can figure out kind of how to format something that I think is competitive, is that the right way to say it, Culture? Because I hate sounding like I'm,
No,
what I mean? It's like that business meets fun side. But you want it to be good. You don't want it to be like an embarrassment.
I have a problem with trying to do that myself. Yeah. What I've done is I've actually just created a frame template in my video editor for shorts specifically, so that if I shoot something in landscape, I can move it around in the portrait, just kind of track it around in the editor, so that, because I move when I talk. So I just kind of move it around if I'm doing that. But for the most part, I mean, treat the shorts like a commercial. That's what I keep telling people, and then use it as a commercial. This is the other cool thing. So I'm not sure at what point. I think you're monetized and you've got members and all that. So you probably have the ability in your studio tab, when you're for your live streams and stuff, for your streams, you have like the details thing, and then right underneath that is like the it's like extras or whatever. It's the second thing down. But so after you put, like, you have your first thing, which is where your description is, then right below that is like, the extras. And then if you scroll down in that window, you have the ability to add trailers. So you can take one of your shorts or any video that's under 3 minutes and turn it into a trailer that'll run before your live streams. I do that. Okay. Yeah,
that's interesting.
I
haven't tapped into that yet.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. So what I'll do is I'll solicit people, like with other channels, like Floral from Under a Rock, or pretty much anybody, and I'll solicit them for like a commercial, a 30-second short or whatever, and then I'll like cut them together, and I'll use all 3 minutes, and then that'll run before any of my live streams. So like before my Sunday shows or my Friday pre-flight or any of that. Even today I ran before the 6-minute daily, I ran a Floral short, so which is a full screen video. I mean, it's just a little commercial, but I always tell people, I'm like, send me a commercial, I'll promote your channel, I'll promote anybody, as long as you're not a hateful human, I'll
That's awesome. You. No, like I said, this is a constant evolving thing, and you have to enjoy it, and then just try to go along with how the river might take us, because Lord knows it is a crazy, crazy ride. So I'm trying to think of anything else. I think I covered all the folks that I met that I wanted to highlight.
I can't believe the people I met. Go to one of these things. Sorry, Pops. I'm going to keep saying it. Go to these events. They're worth it. I probably kept you longer than you wanted to talk. I apologize.
No. You were fine. I had kind of an earmarked of it by 10 o'clock. So I'm still way ahead on my schedule. I'm in great shape. So, and folks in here in chat are going to probably keep me going, because there's a little gig. They like the little joke about trying to keep asking me questions. They're not turning into super chatting. So how are you supposed to stop when they keep throwing super chats at you? That was playing dirty. That was playing dirty on me there.
They do that. They do that. You'll be like, okay, I got to get going, and then super chat.
I will gladly take that burnout, Olds Gamer. I will take that all day and every day. You feel free to send me stuff anytime, my friend. So Q500 ads to Ultra Casino. You go, Zax. You do it, bro. I understand.
I tell people, look, dude, I will gladly promote you. You know that. I love you, man. You've been killing it. I've been saying that for a while. So
well, I tell you what, I will say this too. It's great to see folks like Zax and Grant tap into something that other people will,
and then get over, and it's go.
Yep, and it's just been cool, because you're like because they're like, we're experiencing stuff with them, and then you see something like that happen, and I'm like, that's freaking great. This is amazing. It's so cool to watch. I don't know. It's I guess there's certain people that think that maybe and I'm sure there are naysayers or negative Nancy's out there or whatever. But for me, I'm a cheerleader, man. I'm happy for everyone because to me, the only villain is the machinery. I don't look at any of the YouTube. I don't look at the YouTubers that have already made it. The ones that have millions of subscribers. I don't look at them as competition or enemies. They're not part of the machinery unless they have betrayed their integrity. Is all the thing I care about. So, yeah.
Well, all I know is that there's no room for jealousy when it comes to this, and so I celebrate the success of everybody, all of my peers, which happen to be my friends for the most part. I have yet to meet somebody I haven't enjoyed. I mean, there's only like 2 or 3 people I think that have crossed my path that just rub me the wrong way. But I'm
so glad we were able to.
I love
have you hanging out with me, man.
We need
to do just an Indian stream one. I kind of went through a month where I didn't do much. I didn't really get to another film because it's like it is 3 hours with subtitles. It is not an easy commitment, and I do like a detailed review. I'm not a throw something together for these folks because a lot of these folks have gone out of their way to recommend me stuff, like multiple people. So
I still owe everybody my Brahmastra review, right?
Okay.
So I've got to get that thing done. I owe people a couple others. I owe people my Toombot review. So what I have to do, and this is the thing when it comes to these, because I try to learn how to pronounce these names because I'm terrible at it. But I'll actually write a script. It's not really a script, but like an outline of kind of what I want to talk about.
Me too.
And I have to, because I am so unfamiliar with this stuff. And for anybody that lives in India, this is just part of their culture. They get a lot of what's going on. And I'm like, okay, I have to translate, have to read, like you said, the subtitles for the most part. But these stories are so good. I compared them to silent films, right? I did. I was like, I can turn the volume off and know what's happening here. They're that good. So,
well, I said that, I know you guys are recommending the good ones because I went off script. I tried to do a new one that was on like Netflix, and it was one of the weakest ones. So it's like I knew you could tell the difference. Like it was more frivolous. It was more it was more like popcorny kind of stuff. So I had to make a spreadsheet. I was getting so many recommendations. I kind of had to figure out a way to categorize and then prioritize because there were just so many. And I wanted to try to be as fair as I could. So yeah, I definitely want to get back in, at least knock out 1 or 2 in November.
Well, I really want to get back to doing my Indian cinema reviews on Thursday because I really feel like if I have a dedicated day, I'm more likely to get it done.
That's awesome. What time of the day do you do those? You just record them and release them?
Videos. Those are just videos. I'm one of those people. I like to release things in a pattern. It's why I brought Grant on because in order to get the workload, you understand this.
Sure.
In order to get that work tackled, it couldn't just be me doing it because I am a perfectionist. I spend way too much time editing and everything else. And Grant is just super efficient at it. And I give him all the credit in the world.
Yeah, he's just amazing. Well, and the show's just come along so way. I mean, you just got a real good groove going now, good rhythm. You can tell like the way you're scripting, the way it's the execution. Like it's just at some point you just kind of feel it. There's a comfort level you get to, right? And I figured out I could cheat with StreamYard, right? I figured out that I could play it intro, say what I got to say, play it outro, stop it, download it, upload it, keep it moving, baby, keep it moving. Next thing you know, keeping up with Andor and She-Hulk for me wasn't so bad. I watched it, so they didn't have to. That was my shtick.
I'm too much a perfectionist. I wish I could do that.
I know. I had to live with it. I had to live with some warts and bumps.
I can speak extemporaneously. It's just not what I want to do. So like the video I've got coming out tomorrow that should be somewhere on Grant's desk someplace right now. The video I've got coming out is completely atypical for my channel. There's a lot of politics in it. I don't do politics on my channel, and tomorrow yet, because of again where we're at, and I'm sure you heard this conversation around the room at the meetup, politics is downstream from culture is upstream from politics, however you want to describe it, but and that's just where we're at. But I do have to step out. I didn't
oh, you're fine. I appreciate you even hopping in, folks. Everyone, thank you so much.
I can't believe we got the invite. Thanks for having me on your channel, my friend.
No, man, you were there. I wanted to capture your thoughts and stuff too, and it's been great. And I'm glad you were to do that, man. Hey, go get a bite to eat. Say hi to the missus from the pops, and look forward to talking to you again soon, my brother.
Yeah. She's probably watching, by the way. All right. I'll see you later. Have a great one, man. Love you. See you.
Man, I tell you what, man, it's just real people just hanging out. And that's this, like I said, I'm so happy, Zach, you were able to meet a couple folks up there in the Great White North. You guys talking about some sort of Arizona thing, man. It's great. So if I have missed anything of any significance, or you guys want me to talk about anything, feel free to throw it in there now. I'm not going to go too much longer, but I'd be more than happy. So, but yeah, unfortunately, political is infecting our world. I got to be honest, I'm an old gamer. I came from the political side of things. Right. So, I mean, obviously, like radio was like a gig, like an actual gig. And then it was like invited on more shows. I mean, it was like literally, it was becoming like 3-4 times a week on top of the day job and stuff like that. It was a lot. Plus writing for the website. I'm like a super poll nerd when it comes to doing data analysis. For me, there were little moments sort of like along the way. And what used to be like a small budget or indie film project has become mainstream. Politics in comics changed from being like a Mike Grell book about loving the forest and the environment to putting like shoehorning in climate change conversation in the middle of a fight with ninjas in a Superman book. It's just different. It's raw. It doesn't fit in now more than it was before. So anyway. Let's see. Zombie Box says, I am still working on my tribute video to 90 Cinema. I uploaded 1 minute short. Gotta say first 30 seconds are flawless, but yeah, I'm also a perfectionist. Yeah, it was, I had to get to a place of I don't want to say what I could live with, but what I felt like was with a good balance to deliver what my thoughts, opinions, and commentary is, and also not just, being consumed by editing and whatever. So, Zombie, I look forward to it. I can't wait for you to be on Ryan's so I can learn a lot more about you too, Zombie, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, man. And yeah, awesome one. I'm going to have a confession for you, my friend. We are the Griswolds. We are. It's really bad. Like, it's bad, right? So we used to own 3 houses next to each other. So it's like, the mom's house, my house, son's house, whatever. All of it was decorated. The whole end of the road. We all had 3. It's like a whole end of the road kind of thing. Like my whole roof would be decorated, yard stuff everywhere. So normally decorating for us was starting in early October because there was no way to physically do that much. Every room in the house would be done. It was like off the chain, right? So now we live very remotely. So it's not really as much of a reason to do like as much exterior stuff. But I can tell you that they decided, because we had, so also it was like time. Like if you wait too long, once you hit like Thanksgiving or whatever, then the stuff's not up. You spend all this time. Well, the ladies already are on it. I was getting stuff out last weekend, not this last weekend, the weekend before. So not the weekend of the meetup, the weekend before that. And no, man, there is at least 5 to 6 Christmas trees up in the house. There's decorations everywhere. Every room looks great. It felt very cool. I know it feels weird for people who don't like skipping holidays like that, but for us, it felt awesome. I'm so thrilled. I'm so excited. So yeah, I not only have 1 Christmas tree up, man, we have several Christmas trees already up. So my friend, we take a tree and turn it into Christmas. That seems like a really cool idea. I'm actually used to doing something like that from before, and we kind of abandoned it because we just did less for Halloween, especially once we were committed to different obligations at our church. We ended up doing it was like a fall festival for like little kids. So a lot of our energy was devoted to doing a lot of that, and we become less engaged with like normal Halloween stuff. So now that we have the grandkids that are into it, we spent most of our time, I got to be honest, we've taken them. I know I was part of at least 3 or 4 different things to take in them to the last couple of weeks. So we didn't really do a Halloween tree, but that's what we did. I think I'm going to be able to bring a tree. I think I'm going to redo this corner right here. What the family refers to as the Darth Vader tree. So I have a Star Wars decorated tree with a Darth Vader tree topper, lights, the whole thing. So I'm going to see if I can try to fit that in right over here. may have to kind of finagle the space a little bit. As you can see, I just have stuff thrown together. This is like Dad's house. I'm in the city where I work. My office at home in the farm is so small, I wouldn't even have room for a tree. It's like I have, bookshelves, stuff all across one wall, a little thing in the middle here, a little thing there. There's no room for a tree unless it was literally the center of the room. But right now it's chaos because I've been trying to, as you guys have heard, sell some things, trade some stuff, get rid of some stuff. So yeah, I think everywhere has their stuff up. There are crazy people like us that are trying to do it ahead of time. And I will say logistically, and I'm not trying to make excuses for everybody, but I will say for us, the amount of decorating that we were doing is on such a scale, we had to start in October. It wasn't like, oh, I'm starting in October because I hate Halloween and Thanksgiving. It's like, no, we celebrated Halloween and Thanksgiving. We did stuff. It's just the fact that in order to get that many lights up or decorations or whatever you wanted to do, you can't wait till last minute. So nativity's up. All right, well, good. That's cool. We have not done anything outside yet. So we will be doing that maybe this weekend. I could look at my calendar, but maybe this weekend we'll be doing it. So there are a couple things that are already out. They're just not out front or out where the lights to be plugged in. They're just out. So keep the gremlins from getting away. Yeah, we only put out certain things. We did that wrong. We lost like things that run on like fans. Those inflatable things. They all get ruined. We ended up doing you do wood underneath them or try to lift them up so they can aerate, that kind of thing. Oh man, a Tron tree. Hey, Old Gamer, send me a photo. Send me a photo, man. I love Tron. Ooh, that'd be cool. And I will tell you, Old Gamer, one of the coolest things when we were going to Disney all the time, when we were former Disney pass holders, right? When Tron Legacy came out, they decorated the monorails so there were different colored light cycles. So they had the decal on the side. What do they call that? The wraps on the side. So there were different colored light cycles. So at night you could see them. So you'd see like the blue and the yellow ones like going like this, and it was like being a child again. I was like, oh my gosh, it was the best. It was probably my favorite element of the monorail wraps that they ever did. Even though they did other cool wraps, but that one was cool in the daytime and night, and just oh my gosh, I loved it so much. But yeah, Tron. I don't have enough Tron stuff. I have cool Tron stuff, but not enough for like a tree or anything like that. So, all right, Matt, cool. Thanks for being a member, by the way. I don't ever say that enough. But yeah, I think it's a Vader tree. Let me know what you think. Let's see. Transformers. Oh man, would you imagine cool Transformers? The hard thing is, these places don't understand how much money that could be made by making like manageable stuff that we can afford and turn into that kind of stuff. So yeah, Tron's your ultimate favorite, man. Old Gamer, I don't know if you ever come on. Maybe we do a Tron night at some point, because we really didn't get to Tron this year for Talk Hard. We talked about it. It just didn't work out. There's only so many hours in the day kind of thing. I didn't really do a proper send up to Tron. We just kind of didn't get to it. And I thought about when I do something for Tron to really bring in some Tron folks, because it was a movie like Star Wars for me, because it was my first introduction to the computers, the CGI, whatever, however you want to look at it. The first time the thought of the immersion of the computer world and universe, just all of that for me was such a big deal. I hold it in so much higher regard than it even deserves, because the film doesn't age as well as I would like it to. Tron wrap. Awesome one's always crazy. So let me see. Let's run down some of the stuff. So yeah, tomorrow night. So I'll do my video for Andor in the morning. As I say, not the worst Star Wars thing in the world. Not good, just not the worst. I watch it so you don't have to. There you go. So I'll do that in the morning. I have get some other video clips going along from some of the stuff I've been doing. And then tomorrow night, 5 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be on with Ryan Roger Athe for his 2-hour show, reality based. So I'll be doing that tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I'll be on with Noob Reviews, Megan Lee, talking comic books, probably talking about the Meetup, doing that kind of thing on Thursday. And I'll probably work on some other videos in and around this. So Joseph Dredd, hey man, glad you're doing well. Hey to you. Thanks for hopping in here. So You make it happen. I'll enjoy. Hey, that's fine too. I just want to let you know the invite was there if you ever wanted to. Coleco's your first computer. Very cool. I think I've said it before, Awesome One. I was in a Kmart and they had the Commodore 64, so you could play on them in the store. And I think that, I know there were other computers. We didn't own any computer. We couldn't afford any of those computers. But so it was like the aunt's boyfriend bought a Commodore 64, and I knew some about it because I played with it in a Kmart. So that I always treat the Commodore 64 as my first computer. Couldn't really afford computers. He had, again, the same person. This is like, it wasn't even like official. He didn't marry my aunt. He was just like a boyfriend who had enough money. He bought the Nintendo Nintendo 2600. He bought the Atari 2600. So that was like, so it was stuff that came from someone else. We wouldn't have been able to afford it. I'm not a big computer nerdy kind of guy. People think that, and I'm like, no, I do what I got to do to get by or whatever. So Joseph Dredd, I tell you what, man, game changer, right? Game changer. And it was for me. It was like a big, big deal. And not all of my friends even agree with that. Like it doesn't seem like to resonate. And people who don't like, Tron Legacy, and I do. I can understand it not being as good of a film, especially the last half of the film, but I love it, and I love the first part, the light cycle battle and stuff like that. So for me, Tron 1 is a movie Dad and I shared, so it's a memory thing for me. Yeah. I have I call it the Nexus era, this era in your life where you're first getting exposed to music and movies and culture and these types of things. I call it the Nexus era. We have this sort of like bubble, and things tend to be really special to us beyond their normal legacy to everyone else. And for me, 1982, I'm 12, 11, turned 12. I could go to the movies. I could have friends. We could do things together. Your parents take us, that kind of thing. So all I had to do was figure out how to get enough money to get in. And back then, there were dollar theaters. Not that hard to mow a lawn and get a buck, or do what you got to do to get some chores done. So I was able to go to the theaters like all the time. And I got to be honest, I was we weren't called on the spectrum back then, right? The OCD, ADHD stuff that was in us kids. They're in a lot of boys. We didn't have all that. So my parents and family didn't know what to do with me. So the idea that I would just consume movies and entertainment, this was huge for my family. Like when my aunt did get married, her husband had been in Asia. I think it was in Korea, but I don't want to speak out of turn. But it was in Asia, and he had a beta player, not a VHS, a beta player. And they were basically like bootleg copied versions of hundreds of movies. I could spend the night with them for the weekend, help them with their kids, help them with their yard work, do whatever I could do to help them. And they would let me stay. I would stay up to like 3 a.m. watching movies over and over and over again. I mean, this stuff went on for years too. I was milking it, man. So Andor is very divisive. It's the Marmite of Star Wars. Andor is very decisive because it is not bad, but because of the execution, it's like it's drawn out, which makes it terrible. So episodes 1, 2, and 3 should be 2 episodes. But because they draw it out, where people are just walking and talking and nothing ever happens, and by the time you get to something happening, then they move on. So 4, 5, and 6 is another thing. And they spend 2 full episodes of talking about doing it, going around the table. And even when they kill people off, we don't really care that much because it's all just frivolous, boring stuff to get to something happening. So we're going to be on episode 9 in the morning. We should be on episode like 4 or 5. That's how bad this is. It's like, it's not bad. It's just drawn out. So you're enduring this sluggish approach of everything. So, Olds Gamer, zero judgment. I would never ask anyone to do anything outside of being comfortable. You find your voice, you find your way. And if it's you being there in the chat contributing, or you want to send stuff to me privately to share, even whatever, bro, I'm game. This is not, I have no ego to bruise. And yeah. Forgot Hango. You know what? It's easy, isn't it? I don't even have normally I have my thumbnails made. I don't even have a thumbnail. I don't even have anything. It's almost like it's because I only have a small window to create content in. It's the only way I can remember, because I realize, I do this my day one. This is my day two. I'm happy to have a second one out of the mix. So I'm kind of anxious to figure out how to start something else. Anyway, but yeah, Matt, we'll be on it tomorrow, man. We'll suffer, endure. Texas Instruments, first and tried the True Tandy Coco 123. Okay, cool. Yeah, I remember the TI. I had a close friend that had the TI, and the cartridges and stuff for that are very clearly in my mind. Like I said, just didn't have we never had any money. The money, the stuff we would have for this kind of stuff came from like my aunt's boyfriend, because we ended up all living together at this point, because we moved to Florida during that era, so that everyone all lived on the same property, not in the same house, on the same multiple homes on one piece of property. So the Zombie Box Review is discussing, it's a little hard to be, get over camera shyness and things like that. Hide behind an avatar, it's okay. There's no rules, man. Do what you got to do. So I had a program that took hours to do just for 20 seconds for a song for my Coco 3. Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, Gist of Dread. First computer is an Apple IIe. That was my personal first computer as well. It was actually gifted to me to go to college. So I actually went to college and had like the dot matrix printer that to do my work. So that was my first computer as well. I knew how to do nothing on that thing, because going from zero to that word processor, very generic knowledge at that point in my life. I did not have time. I was in college, and that's how I got it. So Pops, the tops of all the pops. Oh my gosh. I'm never too shy to call Pops the tops of all pops. Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend. Listen, I'm one of the pops. That's all I know. But so been driving around. Listen, Padawannabe, wanted to text good evening before you finished here. Thank you, my friend. By the way, Padawannabe, I don't know how can we connect through one of the Discords or not? You won one of the packs of cards, I believe. You won something. It's on my list, which I do not have in front of me. I need your address and stuff so I can send it to you, man. So if you don't have me on Discord, hit me up there. If not, here, I'll put my email in here for you if you need my email. Yeah, anybody can always email me. Email me your information. Let me send it to you. I think you won one of the cards. I'm almost certain, because I think there's only one comic book left to mail, and I know who that goes to. I have no idea why that's taking so long to go out there. Let's try that again. That was weird. I'm going to try to send this. I'm going to try to send this again. Why did they do that? It's just having trouble connecting, but it seems like everything else is working. That was weird. Oh, we practice how to draw pictures with text on a dot matrix. Cool. Yeah. We did all sorts of crazy things like that. That's crazy, huh? Oh yeah. That's fine. No worries. Just, I want to make sure everybody gets what they deserve, right? I mean, you want it. Let's do it, right? Ewok pack. Okay. I don't have to list in front of me, so I don't want to misspeak. I definitely want to promise you the wrong thing. So whatever you won, and you're earmarked for it. So Heron, hey there. Thanks for hopping in. And right now we're just kind of wrapping up. We talked about the meetup, talked about all sorts of different things. People have been asking some different questions, that kind of thing. So Zombie Box had a Sega Mega Drive. Cool. Very cool. I got to be honest, I don't even know that I remember which one that one is. So cool. If it's Tron cards and they don't want them, send them my way. Laugh out loud, old gamer. Totally understand. Maybe you'll have to hit me up when your birthday is or something like that. Maybe I'll keep one of those wax packs for you. Maybe I'll open one up on the stream and then just send them to you, man. Let's do that. We'll do that one time, man. So I got to figure out what I can emotionally get rid of more of them, because it's hard. It is hard, because I have, if you can't see them, they're up there. There's probably about 6 or 8 left, 6 or 8 original Patron wax packs. So I want to smile. You make me smile nearly every single time, bro. I appreciate it so much. And this is part of the fun of doing this, man. Hanging out with you guys, and hopefully I can not bore you to death. And you guys make me smile, make me happy. So The Sega Master System was a turd. Yeah, I'm such a noob when it comes to some of that kind of stuff. I'm a get by kind of guy. My wife has a hard time because she loves like the new gizmos and gadgets like for phones. She switches phones like constantly, right? When we didn't live in the middle of nowhere and she would be on her computer doing stuff, she always had the nicer laptop and I would take the hand me down one, things like that. People always thought it would be the reverse, right? That I'd be this massive, into all this kind of stuff. So April 22nd. Look at that. April 22nd. I want to write that down, Old Gamer. Make sure I put together a little birthday packet for Old Gamer. One of my members. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you so much. So, zombie box for you. I think at $94.95, you would place a large game cartridge onto a slot. Oh, well, no offense, zombie. For me, being as old as I am, all the cartridges were big. So you have to bear with me until my kids had like Game Boys and everything was real tiny and stuff like that. For me, it was like Atari cartridges. Oh, it didn't work. You take it out, blow on it, stick it back in. It would work. Like everything was like that. I'm just not that. I'm not that my thing. So, I'm starting to feel my age now. Yeah, bro, you have no idea. Feeling age. Oh my gosh. I did farm work yesterday because obviously we were at this meetup. So Saturday was like family day, Halloween, grandkids, which is freaking amazing, by the way. And then Sunday was a meetup, Orlando, Black Adam, with the wifey. And then yesterday was farm day, right? When you run a farm, you gotta. So we're repairing gates and barricades. We're cleaning water troughs. We're doing stuff with the animals, right? Well, one of the things we're doing is trying to repair this. We had this electric company come back to one of their trucks, and they make these giant ruts, destroying. So we're out there trying to clean all this up. So man, I'm feeling it in my arms, my shoulders, and stuff like that, man, out there. So, I do hope I echo that too. I hope you get better, Aaron. Hope you feel better. So, on my tablet all day. Sometimes I don't touch my phone for a week or so. Cool. All right, that's cool. I really should switch to a tablet to do some of my stuff because it would be better for my eyes and stuff. I was thinking about that. So we watch my wife and I will sometime our movie time will be just like cuddling up and we'll use her tablet. And I think to myself, I should get another tablet so I don't use my phone if I'm trying to watch something right before I nod off or something. So NES is so much bigger than Sega, and I'm a lifer, pops. Cool, man. Well, listen, I appreciate it, man. It's so cool. I'm actually still trying to get my AdSense stuff straightened out with Google. I think it's because I've had multiple accounts for years. Like I've had different things for different reasons, and now I have this new one, and there's some sort of issue with the verification process, and I just kind of keep ending up in a loop. So I had to finally get to a human to get this squared away, because once I have those funds, then I'm going to open a business account so I can actually have it as its own thing. And then once I have it its own thing, I'll probably start by switching over things like StreamYard and figure out what to invest in next. That'll be part of it too. Maybe a different type of service or something like that. I really need to figure out some time to figure out the second little camera thing. But you guys seem to like when I just shared the screen. I did this DC Comics and Marvel stuff. I just shared the screen, and people seemed like they were content with that. I asked some folks, and everyone's good. So anyway, wow, you have your original Game Boy. Very cool. You know what? That's cool. That really is. We had one for a while. I think when we moved, one of the boys took it because it was theirs. So that was cool. So they have their Game Boy. So I've kept stuff of theirs they don't know about. So I have their Batmobile and their Buzz Lightyear when they were little boys. So it's like a beat up. It's like the Batman 89 Batmobile and the original Buzz Lightyear from the original movie. He doesn't have a hand like one of them. He's like a stomp. They, they're boys. They tore it all up, but it's theirs, right? And that reminds me, you guys will have to stay on me and remind me. I found one of my original comic books when I was like a child. So this means it was something I had when I was 8 years old or younger. It's the only one I have because there's no cover on it. It's one of my original ones from me being a little boy, little pops. I guess that's pops in all lowercase letters, right? So anyway, yeah, no, cool. Well, Heron, hang on to that. It's cool, man. That's very cool. So You had a spin dial iPod I gave away. Wow. Very cool. Yeah, I actually found one of mine in my desk drawer and thought to myself, I need to charge it up and figure out what's on my iPod. I'm not sure what's actually in there and what would work. As long as I can keep it from updating, it should still work. So you kept all your old handhelds. I'm glad you did too. Very cool. Maybe you can share them sometime and get pictures or nothing else. So, well, we're talking about Ryan. He acts much older than 23. My wife doesn't even believe it, Zombie. My wife actually still, I think for like 3 or 4 days after she was on, because Ryan was first here for the celebration stream, and the first lady came in briefly. She was here for a little bit, and when it was all said and done or whatever, she was like, "He's not 23, right? He's 43. You guys are punking me." He not only looks older, he definitely is older. In his heart and his mind, he's definitely different. So he's definitely an old fella in a little young man's body, or young. I don't know. He does everything does not seem 23. It's very strange. It's very hard to handle. Yeah, I know, Heron. Trust me, I'm telling you, it is really hard to get my head around. But tomorrow night, the old man will be on with Ryan, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Catch it after the fact. If you can't catch it live, we'll see how it goes. So. Oh, they're talking Game Boy talk here. So Tetris. Oh, my wife loved Tetris, man. She was all about it. So the goofy Gandalf. That's funny. You still have a Sega console. It doesn't work, though. Wonder if it can be salvaged, though, Zombie. I don't know. You found your old PSP. Cool. That's awesome. PSP Go. Wow. That's awesome. Graduated in 99. So that puts me about 11 years older than you. Awesome. When I graduated in 88. So Harris 31. Okay. That's cool. I love the fact that too, that's to me really, really awesome that we are different ages and our nerddom can bring us all together and have different insights and thoughts and interactions and things like that. Like that is part of what makes this so cool for me. You know? Kind of like Doctor Who, an old man in a young body. So Ryan is kind of like a Doctor Who. He'd probably make a better doctor than the one they're getting, right? Joseph Dredd saved it all. Dreamcast, GameCube. Cool. Sasquatch feeling old, bro. Me too. But it's okay. I know I'm old, and you feel older than me. So Zombie, it can be saved. Brian was born in 99. Yeah, that's true. Zombie Box turned 35, 36. Okay. Yeah, try to get that thing repaired if you can. It'd be cool. 85 kid. Wait a minute. You were born in 85, right? That sounds right. That make you 37. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah. You did not graduate in 85. That'd make you older than me. No, you born in 85. That sounds right. 15 years older than me, 30s. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, Matt's in his late 30s. That's about right. So yeah, all right. So let's wrap up. It's after 10 my time. I gotta get a nap in. Andor comes on in a couple hours, and you guys want me to look fresh. I need to look at my haircut. Look at this mess. What little I have is all unruly. Yeah, when I actually thought that too. I was like, what, 85? What's he mean? Oh yeah, born 85. Yeah, we got you. So I would tune in. I would love to. Oh man, I wonder. I won't have time to do it before tomorrow. I need to get a couple screenshots of Ryan, and I bet I can face swap him in for a Dr. Clips and thread that together. That would be awesome. Oh my gosh. I wish I had like the next level up, because I can do that with the apps. I don't know how to go to the next level, the Perry Chan level, where you're able to like use like them talking and put it. Like I don't know how to do that part, but I can at least do the face swap part. You guys are awesome. Thanks for that idea. All right. So Old Gamer Mode Lawns. That's the way to go, man. Buy your NES. Still have it. Cool. Very cool. Had to get my N64 from Japan because I couldn't find one when it originally came out. Yeah, that was rough, man. Dr. Ryan. Yeah, I'm with you guys. So, all right. Well, I got to get a nap in. Got to do Andor in a few hours. Got another clip coming. We'll try to get some shorts done. Maybe record some videos. Be on with Ryan tomorrow night. Make some videos, do some stuff. and do noob reviews on Thursday. Pretty chill weekend. Don't have too much going on. I may be trying to dive into this peripheral show everyone's talking about. I'm on season 3 of Cobra Kai. Season 2 is okay. Season 2 is kind of dark. Cobra Kai season 2 was a little dark, so I may do a video about that. I don't know yet. It's hard to figure out the right, because there's not going to be a lot of views for something like that. It's like who cares what I have to say now? Like it's kind of a, so I don't know. It's kind of weird. I'm just happy I saw it. It is still good, especially compared to other stuff. So I was bored between episode 4 and 6. Oh my gosh, that is freaking great, my friend. What is the abbreviation? Okay, you guys are in there. You guys know Old Star. What is the abbreviation for like before New Hope? Is it just, do they just put BNH like years before? Like how many years? What's the abbreviation for like years before New Hope took place? That'll be how I should start doing my age. You guys will just tell me faster than I could look it up. So let me know. Year before 6 and 1. Before 6 and 1 is a big freaking gap, Heron, by the way. But you're 31. I figured it out. I'm trying to hit it. Zach, I know you and other people have said you guys like Peripheral, so I'm ready to try it. It looks really cool and strange, so I like that idea. And I realize I'm not getting off, and I should, so I have to hurry. Great stream. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I love you guys so much for making all this just happen like this, because this is just the best. And I look forward to it so much. I can't tell you how much time is wasted when I have nothing to think about, where I'm just literally thinking about a stream or how to fit something in, or because I asked the missus, I said, should I do this? Like I do this thing, like, or should I just start posting photos? She's like, no, do a stream first. Do a stream, hang out, hear what people have to say, hear their questions, whatever. And I'm like, this was great. And we got to see Culture Casino, guys. How freaking great was that? That Culture popped in here with us for a few minutes. Man, it's awesome. So anyway. All right, I'm going to try to go, guys. Thank you so much for hanging with me for so long. What do you guys want to hear? How about something funny? Let's go out with, let me say thank you and have some Franks and beans. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
I mean, is it the
Is it the Frank or the beans?
Right.
I don't know. It looks like, I think it's a little bit of both.